Folks, Joanna said that she would download a short video for me if I can get it to her today. And I want to talk about three things, or maybe four. Well, I'll talk fast so I won't confuse me. But I have a lot of stones that I can put into patterns, and basically right now I can find six different patterns that shows how what techniques they were using on splitting the stone to make stone tools. But what I want to show you is that I was digging in this box called Faces. No, oh, Faces. Human faces. And I've seen this before, but it's a pattern that I wanted to mention. And that is that well, now, here's a really good example of one, but it does not have much of that peak that I'm talking about. It's where it's a little peak comes back up, and now this one, human face is on this side, and the peak goes this way, and this one, the face is right in here. Wait, I have to pick that up to do that right. But the human face is right here, and it's kind of a little thing going back like that. And that's one pattern that shows me the human face quite a bit. But I want to talk about the color. The difference between original color and some color that might have come about from the earth, organic, like something growing in the stone. And that's why why I buff it off with sand, is that slow deterioration of stones or tools that are 10,000 plus years. They'll have kind of a fuzzy, well, it needs cleaned off. And none of my cleaning affects the color, the real color, the original color. It just doesn't. That color is from carbon and iron oxides and such, and it's soaked into the stone. But I wanted to show an example of this peaky little thing that goes back on many of the faces that are human faces, and also a black outline. They use a black outline a lot, and that's a human face. And this color is original, because I can show other images in one day. But this has a really good human face in it. And they've used yellows and orange and red and blacks. It's this little peak that comes back. It catches my attention when I'm looking at the rocks, and usually when I clean them up, there's a human face on them. Wait, that's not one. It's this one. This has that human face on it. And it is also painted yellow with little black outlines. I do question all of the black in this one. And that's that pyramid shape too. I've got a whole bunch of this pyramid shape. This one is a larger one. It has this little peaky thing going back. And it's got a human face portrayed right there. And on the human faces that I've found, where they're putting the face from here to here, there's a little line. It's almost like a place where they stopped and they said, okay, this is where I'm going to put the face. Then they put more stuff in here. For instance, this one's a bird right there, wing, tail. That guy right there. And the wings fold around. And that's on that, they made it from the face. And this one has, well, a lot of times I see a bird. But what I wanted to say is that in these human faces I've found, it doesn't take a whole lot of work. And I've had this knife quite a while. and I felt like, well, maybe it got bruised. Excuse me. It got bruised or something and then resharpened or whatever. But keeping in mind the way the human faces are made with a little peak, and I don't think this knife was ever used, ever. It was made this way on purpose to give that sort of an image of a human. A little bit, you know, it's like a nose and stuff, because this thing is still sharp, and it was made originally with these little naps. So I think they were trying to portray the human face then in that knife. It's never been used. Even this down here would normally be ground off, I guess. It's just sharp as a razor. You can scrape with that part. I think probably someone made it and gave it somebody, like a ceremonial thing. I'm not sure. And I also see a bird right down here, but I'm not sure. But this is a sample of some that either came around from where I was, had a brush pile, or I saw them like buried halfway, and on top of them was a layer of dead leaves, and dead leaves will rot down and stain the stone, and it's permanent. So when I'm looking through these stones, I have to realize whether, or have to try to figure out whether it was a natural dark color that was used or whether it was something organic that came along later. For instance, this one was in a brush fire, and there's no way to get that stain out. It's permanently cooked in there. But this is really cool. I mean, there's an elephant right here. There's a bird in about every direction. Plus, it's a really nice crescent-shaped scraper here too. Two scrapers. And kind of like a birdstone. But it's permanently black. And these are the ones that I know are that way. That's not the original color. Now I want to, let me grab one. If I wanted to take out the organic stuff, now this, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Here's my sample. If these haven't been got burnt or nothing like that, but I've looked at them and I can tell that they have an organic growth that doesn't clean out with my sand and salt and soap. So if I want to clean one up, and I don't clean them all up, it'd be too overwhelming. I use 20 volume hydrogen peroxide, and I put the stone in it, and I let it soak for about a month, and it gets rid of a lot of stuff, and then you can really see the artwork better. I mean, I can, and it will bubble and bubble, and it's eating away at that stuff. So if I want to clean some that I think could be really cool, I do that. That's it. One of these days, this won't be such a mess.